What is up, guys? So it is, what is today? Today is the 5th of October. Today is the 5th of October. Wait, it's on Patreon. Just kidding. It's on my computer though, too. I have a calendar with all of the astrology for the month up right over here. And I can drag it right over here. I'm getting ready. It's a little later of a start today. My grandmother actually was in Fort Myers for Hurricane Ian, and she's finally coming in today into Charlotte, where Hurricane Ian then came and passed through. And so I'm getting ready now. She's going to be here soon. I'm excited, but I still have a lot of recording to do today. But I wanted to talk about the kind of astrology we have coming up. So if you see me looking over here, it's just because I have my content calendar for Patreon up. But in that calendar, I write like the full moon, the eclipses, the important dates of kind of what's going on. So today's the 5th. We have Pluto going direct in Capricorn on the 8th, which is this Saturday. That's going to be a really intense day because Pluto going direct is actually a really good thing. I like when Pluto goes direct. There's going to be a lot of change, a lot of shakeup, especially considering we have the full moon in Aries on the 9th, which is really, really nice. I'm looking forward to the full moon in Aries. I like Aries as a sign, especially after we just had the new moon in Libra previously, because that means that we're learning how to focus on ourselves right now. And then the following day, we have Mercury entering. Hello, Autumn. We have Mercury entering Libra. And so Mercury is not ruled by Libra at all. It was actually just home in Virgo. And so now it's entering Libra on the 10th. But with the full moon in Aries and then Mercury in Libra, Libra is the duality of Aries. We're going to be in this little dance of communicating in a perspective of more so partnership and how we interact with others. But we're coming to a close and what we've learned about ourselves because of relationships, because of how we interact with others, because of what's gone on between us and the things and people and situations around us, right? So it's like we're seeing that mirror come full circle, which is really interesting. So the first 2 weeks of the month are really going to be like, holy shit, like I'm learning all these lessons from how my environment, my relationships are showing me everything about myself that I'm learning. So it's like dotting the I's, crossing the T's. Hello, how are you? And really just bringing that to a close. And then we're just gonna be integrating that over the next 2 weeks or so. And on the 23rd, we have a lot going on. The 23rd is a Sunday. We have the sun entering Scorpio. So Scorpio season is going to start. We have Venus entering Scorpio. So a lot of like very sexual, creative, mysterious energy. I would just, if you're looking for like commitment during this time, this is a time to be weary of intentions. And yeah, we'll talk about that later in the month. Well, I know we'll talk about it on Patreon because we're going to be doing energy shift readings and stuff. So if you want more on that, check out our family over there. We have Saturn direct in Aquarius. Saturn going direct is going to be really, really nice too because it's been retrograde for a long time. But Saturn is also like lessons. Saturn is maturity. Saturn is the planet of really taking things and taking stock of them and understanding like Aquarius. Aquarius is about freedom, walking to the beat of your own drum. And so with Venus in Scorpio, the sun in Scorpio, Saturn's also asking us with Aquarius, like, how can I go within, create this wisdom, this connection with a higher power? Because Scorpio is very intuitive. Scorpio is very much so this energy of a mystic, and I think people overlook Scorpio for that. I think people see Scorpio as like, ooh, death, endings, and transformation. But Scorpio is very intuitive. They're like the hidden high priestess. They really are. And with Saturn going direct in Aquarius, I think that there's going to be a lot of shakeups at this time, and a lot of people understanding like, hey, I could get a lot done for myself and I could get a lot done in regards to where Scorpio is for you. So I would definitely check out where Scorpio hits your chart at this time because it's also going to be a new moon solar eclipse on the 25th in Scorpio. And this is where solar eclipses are kind of like intense. Solar eclipses are a time of really letting things go that are out of your control or allowing a change to happen. I wouldn't say this is a good time to manifest or start projects. It's more so a time of surrender with a new moon solar eclipse, because solar eclipses are kind of like divinely guided energies. It's an energy where you really surrender to the divine and kind of like, whatever's going to happen for me, it's going to happen. Now, if you like manifesting regardless, go ahead, whatever floats your boat, intuitively do. Like, I'm a firm believer of like, follow your own intuition. I'll never tell somebody to do what I think is best. You know what I'm saying? But it's a very potent energy. And from what I've experienced with solar eclipses, I find them a time of very much so allowing the universe to unravel the way it is best. Eclipse season is, especially after retrograde, when there's already been so much healing, when there's already been so much review. Eclipse season is kind of like, okay, we've done the healing, we've done the review, you've done the purging. Now let me show you what I'm trying to bring you, right? Now you've emptied your cup. Let me show you what the universe would like to fill your cup with, instead of trying to make the decision yourself, right? Like, really surrender, allow the universe to gift you. And that gift might be removing things and replacing them or renewing them in a new form. So just try to think of it that way. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it or make it sound nice. Some of you might seriously just be having the rug ripped out from underneath you, because solar eclipse, especially in Scorpio is still endings. It is drastic endings and letting things go, but it is also this energy of a higher state of consciousness. So really go with it, go with it. I swear this isn't as pale as it looks. It's going to oxidize. And this lighting don't really do me justice either. So I have a yellow light on. In person, it don't look like that. I promise. But so what else? We have Mars. Oh no, that's the retrograde reading. Mars retrograde begins on the 30th. But Jupiter retrograde enters Pisces on the 28th. So there's a lot going on this month. There really is. And what I would definitely recommend for everybody this month is to just surrender. I know it sounds really simple when you put it into words like that, but really, when you allow yourself to just go with the flow and not try to force things or force people or force situations, you're going to realize like you're going to be a lot more at peace with a lot of things in your life. And a lot of things are really going to start working out for you, because let's put it this way. Retrograde season is the pause, is the review, is the healing. And it's the realization of like, whoa, this isn't working. This was really hard. And it was the emptying of the cup. And like I just said, now that we're going into eclipse season, have 12 years, oh, that's so sweet. That's really nice. But you're going to be gone now. Okay. And so I will forever be itty bitty titty committee, and I'm very proud of it. I really am. That's okay. That's crazy. Anyway, it's funny as hell. Actually made me really happy. Why, thank you, sir. When I'm 40, they won't sag. That's awesome. So, when we go into eclipse season, though, the universe is going to show you new opportunities, and you might literally look at them and be like, this is not, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to do that. And really question yourself. Are you not wanting to do it because it's not normal for you, or it's not familiar to you? Or are you not wanting to do it because it's just uncomfortable, right? Like, really challenge yourself. Like, what's the real reason behind your lack of desire to step into that new? Or is it something that you've really wanted to do, but you're scared of what others might say or how people might perceive you? Like, really, really think about it. Because a lot of what's going to start coming in is things for, if you're wondering why I just said what I said, it's because there was a blocked comment that popped up. That's why I had to remove them. But whatever's coming up for you is because the universe is trying to push you in that direction because it's what your soul is craving. And a lot of people are not in alignment with what their soul really wants. And so people might lose friends, they might lose jobs, they might be forced to move, and you might think, oh my God, why am I losing all these things I love? And you're going to be asked, like, do you really love them now? Do you really love them? Because the answer is you probably don't. You're probably just attached to them and you think that they make you happy, and they really don't make you happy. They really don't make you happy. And you know they don't make you happy. But you associate your happiness with these things because they're familiar and it's what society has told you it makes you happy. Like money makes you happy, or being skinny makes you happy, or having manicured nails makes you happy, or having a husband and kids, or having a wife and kids, or having the perfect partner, and right, or traveling makes you happy. Maybe you want to be a homebody. Maybe you don't want to work a corporate job. Maybe you don't want kids, right? Maybe that's actually what makes you happy. Or maybe you want a partner, but you don't want a big house. Maybe you want a small house. Maybe you don't need a lot of money. Hello, my dear. But these kinds of things are going to come into question because eclipse season is basically Uranus on steroids. And it's going to make you question your belief system. It's going to make you question a lot of the ways in which you live and a lot of the things that you might think actually resonate with you, but maybe they resonate with the people or the situations you surround yourself with. And it's going to push you into new situations that really resonate with you on a soul level. So you can really come into alignment with who you really are. So it's going to be a really cool time, but it's a good time to become more divine, right? So just be on the lookout because we're going to be doing some new kind of content that's just more channeled. I'm just going to be doing basically what I do on Patreon, just not on such a grand scale on here. We're going to be doing more channeled messages. I'm not going to be jumping straight into tarot. I am going to do more channels like I do on Patreon, like starting things off like, oh, this sign feels like they're going through this, and I'm going to ignore when people are like, I wish you would just do the reading. Well, you know, if you don't like how I read, then kick rocks, because I'm not going to change myself to please other people. If they don't like what I do, then they can find another reader, because I'm not going to change who I am to accommodate people who want things a certain way, because that's just, I'm not going to, you know, deny myself for the sake of others, and you shouldn't either. You shouldn't. Don't ever do that. That's silly. And I used to do that on YouTube, and it made me start to like hate my work, because I love spending so much time with my Patreon family, and because I'm allowed to do the readings. I want to do my readings, and I want to do them like that on YouTube. And so often people are like, I wish you would just get right to the reading. And it's like, you know what? But that's just not how I read. It's not. And you know what? The readings are a lot better when I do them the way that they are meant to be done, you know? And you know what? You'll have a better reading if you let me do the reading how I want to do it. And you know what? Half the time I'll end up talking to dead people if you let me. Or half the time I'll end up going to a quantum level if you really let me. But people are they're so attached to the way that they've assumed tarot readings to be, or they've assumed spirituality to be. I have a damn hair from my brush stuck on my face now. And people are working through their attachment. People are working through their attachment to what relationships are, to what marriage is, to what religion is, to what spirituality is, on all these different levels. And we're just breaking the glass ceiling. And some people are really going to be resisting that right now. And it's going to let you know I ain't one of those people. I mean, it's not one of those people that resists that kind of stuff. And I'm also one of those people that, if you try to stand in my way as I break a glass ceiling, I will steamroll you. I'll be like, I'm just going to keep going. Don't get in my way. Don't get in my way. You can believe what you want, but you're not going to tell me what to believe. That's fine. We can agree to disagree, but I'm going to keep living how I like to live. Right? And that's how it should be, in my opinion. Right? Find your circle, find your tribe, do your thing. Fulfill your vibe. Huh, cute little poem for you. There you go. You're welcome. It's just crazy. It's crazy. But I'm curious how everybody's dealing with the energies. I know the last few days have been absolutely insane. I know Lex, she actually sent into our Patreon chat how the Schumann resonance had a really, really high spike the other day, the highest in a while. And I know, like, for me personally, like that had me like vibrating like crazy the last few days. And I know it's caused like a lot of anxiety and stress in other people. I've seen it in like people close to me, like people freaking out and bugging out. And I'm curious how everybody's been feeling. So if you've been dealing with stuff, or if you've been having more fights, or if you've been going through things with people in your life over the last little while, last 2-3 days, maybe even 4 days, I maybe pay attention to that, because that has an effect on us energetically, physically, spiritually, psychologically, and all those aspects. And I know for me, like, I was literally like vibrating last night laying in bed, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then the day before, I had really crazy meditations, which we talked about on Patreon as well. But I feel like my channel is opening more too, dabbling in channeling, seeing more things. Yeah. Intuition's really going to be peaked right now, because we're like, I know I've mentioned it on YouTube a few times too. Like, we're in a really big divide of like portal, and not divide. Divide's the wrong word. I don't like saying the word divide, because we are a collective consciousness, but we're in this energy of, do we step into the new energy that we want to embody, or do we step into, or do we stay attached to the old? And so it's either staying attached to a fear, because that's all attachment is. Attachment's represented by the devil. It doesn't represent Capricorn just because Capricorn is associated with the devil card. So ignore zodiac signs in this sense. I feel that vibrating though. It's been making feels, that's crazy. I literally got scared of having a seizure last night because I was vibrating so much. And I haven't been scared of having a seizure in a really long time. Like, it hasn't crossed my mind, but that's what I was talking about. Like, you might also be picking up on the fact that the collective is split into, there's a fear base group in the collective, and then there's the bridge into, or stepping into a really high state of consciousness and trying to detach from the fear, from the anxiety. So it's like, who in your reality is anchored to fear? Is it you? Is it someone in your social group, in your family, in your environment? Like, who are you still attached to that is in your energy that might be bringing you there? Or is it you? Or is it a little bit of both? And identifying with that and learning how to work through it, transmute it, so you can start to move towards this higher state, right? Towards this new place that you want to go to. Because we're working through choosing a new frequency. Basically, it's quantum leaping. Like, we just want to call it what it is. The collective is stepping onto a new quantum level. We're stepping into a new energy field, like a new field of consciousness. Are you talking about your daughter? She and I took self-care day yesterday. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's been so confusing, and you always, yeah, this is definitely a collective thing. So, and I think it was in one of the Patreon weeklies, we were talking about like feeling like really, really good one day, and then feeling like, oh my gosh, I feel like anchored down, like yanked down the next. If you feel like that, it's this energy of attachment. So just be mindful of like, is this mine or is this not mine? Is this somebody I'm dealing with? Is this a family? Is this friend? Is this work? Is this something going on that I am really determined to succeed at and I'm not succeeding with? What is this in my reality that is not helping me grow, that is not helping me become authentic, right? Just be honest with here. I'll give you a perfect example of me. Okay, I'll use myself as an example, because we're all human. Nobody's exempt from this. Even if they work in this line of work, like, even though this is what I do for work, it doesn't mean I'm exempt from it. Even if there's an astrologer or another reader or a psychic or a medium, they're not exempt from it, because we're all part of the collective energy. Okay, everybody goes through it in their own form. So for me, it was like the realization that I need to make drastic change in how I do my work, right? And so I like doing lives better than pre-recorded videos, because I like interacting with people. I get way too bored staring at a camera all day and recording videos. I feed off of collective energy, but I also channel much differently when I'm doing lives for the collective. Now, if I'm doing a personal reading, I can channel that individual's energy perfectly fine because it's one person. But if it's for the collective, I like doing live chats. Like I like interacting with people. I can still channel it just fine, but it gets boring channeling like 12 videos for each zodiac sign staring at a camera. I get bored. It gets very monotonous, you know? And so I like doing that every now and then. And so I decided to change things on Patreon. I decided to do more live chats like this on YouTube because I enjoy it. Those things had to change because it resonated with me, but it brings more energy into my energetic body, aka the human design. What helps you build your energy throughout the day? What helps motivate you? Check out your human design or check out Lex. Lex works with human design, right? So go ahead, hit her up because she studies that shit, you know, and look it up, you know, really educate yourself on it because it's really going to blow your mind when you find out how you feed off of other people, how you need to protect your energy, what really helps move you through the day, what doesn't help you, how you need to rest, the things in which really benefit you and the things that work to your detriment. You're welcome, my dear. That's my babe. That's my babe. But yeah. Yep, Buttercup. Human design is so amazing. Yeah, it is. It is. I love me some human design, man. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. For real. It's a crazy thing. Because when you really start to understand your body, because like my background's in biology and psychology, you know, so like when Lex started talking to me about human design, I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense because I naturally liked studying how the physical, mental, and spiritual bodies merge together. Like I liked merging those all together. And so knowing that there was another like literal way to study the energetic body, to bring another body into it and to really bridge the fourth body into it, I was like, right? And then there's the fifth body and the sixth body. There's just so more to put into it, and it really helps you understand how to connect them all. And so I'm excited, but we're going to be doing a series on all of that. I think I'm going to call it the Kundalini series for Patreon. I know that I was going to do the Vegas Nerve series, but then I was starting my notes on it and I was like, actually, I'm just going to do the Kundalini series because the vagus nerve actually runs through the Kundalini energy anyway. And so I was like, I might as well, like, it literally runs down, the vagus nerve runs down the brain gut axis. So you might as well just do a Kundalini energy and just start with all the chakras and discuss the brain gut axis and all of it. And just do like the PNS, the CNS, and just talk about all of it. It just makes more sense that way. It's just going to be, makes more sense. It just makes more sense. It just makes more sense. Makes so much more sense that way. You know what I'm saying? Picking up what I'm putting down. But yeah, if you're going through some crazy shit with people right now, and honestly, I'd say give it up to God, Gaia, Allah, Pachamama, whatever you want to call it, universe, source, spirit. You know, stop trying to control it. Let it be. Let it be. Just let it be. Okay? Just let it be. People be stressing about things they don't need to be stressing about right now. They just don't need to be stressing about. Let it go. Let it go. Let me tell you something. I've lost a lot of patience with a lot of things right now when it comes to people stressing things. And I'm at the point like, oh my gosh. Let me live, man. Let me live. Things are becoming serious that don't need to be so serious. And that's just because everybody's very sensitive right now. So damn sensitive. And it's like, quit. Just quit. Quit. Chill out, Cub Scout. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Do you see how much I've used of this? It's literally flat. There's nothing left. It was my favorite. I got it for free, and it's the best color ever created. Best color ever created. Okay, ask me questions. What kind of question? Not tarot questions, because obviously, like, I have makeup all over my hands. I'm not going to be putting that on my cards right now. But what kind of questions do you have? I'll do like intuitive or just talking in general. Like, what kind of questions do you have about spirituality? Or like, what have you been experiencing? Talk to me. That's fine too. That's what I'm here for. Well, not here for. I'm here to live, to exist, but I do enjoy talking. Ask away. Anybody? Anything? Okay. I'm really curious about the upcoming eclipse season. I feel like we covered that a bit. Do you have any specific questions about it? Because I feel like I talked about it. What do you want to know? Like, well, here, let's start with this. What house is Scorpio in for you? Do you know that? Because the first solar eclipse is at Scorpio, 16 degrees. And then it's a partial solar eclipse, I believe. We're all sensitive to the collective heart opening. My 11th, holy shit, man. That's crazy. I need to tell. Oh, I forgot that's what happened in my meditation last night. I forgot to tell you about that too. I literally felt a pop in my chest last night when I was doing the meditation after I saw what I told you I saw. That was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh. I feel like it had a lot to do with the collective, though. What was going on with that whole, like, oh, hey, homie, you want me up there with you? Doing that? With those people? I can do that. Just let me recoup a little bit. 11th. Okay. The 11th house. Let's see. 11th. Group friends, social arrangements, social awareness, humanitarianism, technology, hopes, wishes, and the future. Ooh, okay. I told you about the Merkaba though. Yeah. But the 11th house, I like the 11th house. But I definitely think that you're probably going to be getting away from social groups. But I think I talked about that. That was weird. Social groups, friends. I wouldn't be shocked if you changed jobs or got away from certain careers, like coworkers. Moving maybe too. Is it across? Ooh, it's across from the 5th. Romance, love, affairs, play, creativity, fertility. The thing about if it's in one house, it's kind of like the cause and effect. So if you move away from like friends or social groups, or if you start doing work with humanitarianism, however it happens in your 11th might have an effect on your 5th house, like, so it might end something there, but it might begin something in the 5th, Are you familiar with entities feeding on people after provoking emotional energy? Okay, so I think that language is very... I think we all say things a certain way, but we might... I'm going to say it differently, but I think that we're saying the same thing. Do I think that people... Okay, so let's say that I'm in a relationship with somebody and I find them very draining, but I have very strong feelings for them. They're the entity. They're draining is the feeding on me. But I feel I care for them very much so. That's the very provoking energy. You get what I'm saying? Okay, very attractive energy. It's just that language is powerful, the way that we say things. But it's all the same at the end of the day. It's just how we perceive it. That's how I would perceive that. And then if you're talking about like energetic attachments, so like if I were to do a Reiki session and see somebody attached to another person energetically, it's the same thing in the physical world. It's just that energetically they're attached to them. It's just codependency. Because I've seen that too, or if somebody's really tied to you because you're really enmeshed with them energetically, they're holding on to your energy. But really that happens though. If I ever see somebody attached to somebody's energy, it's usually because one person is in a very more energetic, but not human. Well, to be quite honest, I don't really think, I think the human body is just us energetically taking a physical form so we can identify as something, you know? Um, all of a sudden my groups have disappeared and you're not alone. You're not alone. You're finding a new soul tribe. And so the universe is saying, hey, we're going to allow you the space to find out who you are so you can reach a new frequency, so you can start attracting the people who are best suited for you now. Okay. When I see, okay, so let's talk about human versus energy, right? So let's say that you've been in a really toxic dynamic with somebody, whether, yeah, lots of love to you. It's okay. Because like we've all been there, right? We've all felt really, really alone. And the thing to remind ourselves when we're really, really alone is that maybe you're alone right now because God is saying like, or universe, spirit, whatever it is, your higher power is saying like, this is the best time for you to be alone because it's time for you to find yourself, to love yourself, because in this space, you're discovering a new version of you that's going to align with people who are better suited for you, right? We're allowing you the space to heal. We're allowing you the space to detach and to like really purge and release all the things that are just not good for you. Okay. So let's say you're in like a really, balance the next question for Black Warlock. So let's say you're in a really toxic situation and then energetically you go to like somebody who works, I don't want to say healer because even though like I'm a shaman, I'm quantum healer or Reiki practitioner, I'm not a healer. All it does is help facilitate the process of healing within yourself. And then you start the healing process after we've already gotten your body prepped to begin its healing internally on its own. Okay. So you're really your own healer. We just prime you for it. Okay. So let's say you're in the session. And I've actually seen this in a client before. I've seen something that I would call like a really dark energy. And I saw a pentagram on her forehead. This was just the other week. But that energy was because that energy was attached to somebody she was associating with externally. Okay. And it was attached to her because she had been spending so much time with these people that she's now enmeshed with that energy. And with that pentagram on her forehead, that energy that's attached to her is now imposing its beliefs, right? Because it's on the third eye. The third eye is I trust, right? I trust myself. I trust my own belief system. I trust in my personal power. I trust my intuition, right? I have faith in myself. And it's now saying, well, I have faith in this entity, right? And that's where the confusion comes in. When we're around other people and we start to get confused or we start to question ourselves, it's because energetically there is something attached to us that is not authentic to who we are. Okay. And that's typically a lower frequency energy. It's something that's rooted in the lower energies or the lower chakras that is rooted in guilt, fear, and shame, which is the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus, right? The ego, the creativity, and the sense of safety. Those three chakras. So fear, guilt, shame. Okay. Rooted in the trunk of the body. So when you have autoimmune disorders and things of that nature, people typically get disabled or they lose their ability to walk or move, or they start shaking or their nervous system breaks down because it's rooted in the trunk of the body, the ability to move properly, to function properly. Low frequency energy. So those things attached to her. And I ask her, there's this energy. Are you hanging out with a masculine energy? Because I feel masculine. Masculine does not mean male, though. Okay. It doesn't mean male. Does not mean male. It could have been a woman. It does not mean male. Ask her, are you involved in a relationship with somebody who really makes you question yourself, where you think that, well, this is not something I typically do, but this is something they would do. And I want people pleasing, right? I want to make them happy, but it doesn't feel right. She said, yes. Right. And it turns out that she was in a relationship with somebody, and the way that we were describing this person was very much like this energy. And I literally said it to her, Lex, that's crazy. Like I said, as like she had an open ajna, which would be your third eye, and an open crown, which in the human design, with someone who has an open ajna and an open crown is is much more likely to take in the energies around them. And they're much more likely to take on all the energy in a room. So like I have an open ajna, I have an open crown. It's really easy when I walk into a room to know what other people are thinking, right? To know what other people are feeling. I can sense the room. I can read somebody really well. They're typically very psychic, or they just, and she was very young. And so I was saying to her, I was like, it's just not okay. It's not safe, because a pentagram is also a symbol of protection. People see like a star, which is a pentagram, as something to be frightened with, but it's really not. It's mind, body, soul, spirit, right? And I didn't say that right. Anyway, but I use it also when I'm warding. So you would do it over mirrors and vents and windows. It's a protection symbol. It's not just something that is bad. Okay. It's actually beneficial, but it's something that you do to seal things. You're sealing protection in, or you're sealing your intention, which mine is protection. This thing, no, it was sealing its interpretation of its own thoughts into her third eye, which is not okay. And so that energy was not healthy. That energy was attached to another being. So yes, energies can be toxic, but energies come from something else. Energies are projections. That's my take on it. Do I also think, like, let's think of it this way. If you walk into a room, if you go to a party, you feel an energy and you're like, oh, I don't want to be here. Or if you're about to drive somewhere and something tells you, oh, I shouldn't go there today. What's that vibe? It's an energy. You're sensing something, but it's coming from somewhere. It's coming from either, an event is going to happen, or a person is going to be there and you don't want to be around that person. It's coming from a living thing. A living thing could be a tree. A living thing could be a person. It could be an element, but it's a living thing. It is a living thing. A cell is a living thing. So energy is living. It's living. So energy, human, they're both alive. That's my perspective on it. I don't know if I answered your question or not, but that's kind of how I perceive it. That's how I see it. I hope I did. If not, I don't know if you're still there, but that's kind of how I saw it. I've had some other really like dark things come up in sessions too. You're welcome. I hope that made sense. But typically with like dark energy though, oh, here's another thing. With dark energy though, you can banish it without having to do, this is really interesting. This is a really interesting topic, because I know a lot of people think of dark energy as something that's really frightening, but the reality of it is dark energy is just really scared, sad, hurt energy. It is. So I do a lot of mediumship, especially with my clients that come in person, and we do Reiki sessions and stuff. And they're really attracted to people who are of a higher frequency, or do a lot of healing work, or have a lot of love. And it's because they're struggling to find it within themselves, because they're harboring all this hurt, or all the shame, or all this struggle. And they want to be around things that have the opposite of that, right? They want to be around the things that make them feel good. And so a lot of us perceive this dark energy is, oh my God, like it's possessed, right? Because of media and what it's made it out to be. And like, I need to banish it, or I need to do an exorcism or a ritual and all this. And like, at times, yes. Do we need to do things in excess? Very, very rarely. But a lot of times, if you just really strongly tell something that this is my body, right? This is my home. This is my space, and you need to leave. You need to leave. It's not my job to nurture you. It's not my job to care for you. You need to go. It's going to go, right? So if you're feeling like out of nowhere, like this tightness or this anxiety in your body, remind yourself like that's a low frequency energy. You're like, where is this coming from? It's literally something like, think of anxiety, stress, fear, guilt, shame. Think of those things as something trying to invade your body. Think of it that way and remind yourself that it's not allowed in your body. Think of it the same thing as you would like a dark energy and be like, no, you're not allowed in my body. I'm too pure. I'm too fine for this shit to be in me. And tell it like, nope, kick it out the window. When I was recovering from my paralysis, I don't know if you guys know, but I had a really bad brain injury. It was all blind and deaf and dead and all that stuff in 2018. And I was like, oh, cool, back to life, and paralyzed. And, ooh, great stuff. Divine was there for me. And that's how I ended up here, right? Okay. And when I was trying to get my head around like not being scared to sleep at night because I was like, oh my God, am I going to die again? Like I literally had to tell myself, wait, no, like don't allow fear into the body. And I would do that and remind myself that it was a lower frequency energy. And over time, like I would start doing that and doing that. And I've been doing it again recently because like I went through my Saturn return this last year and it was a doozy. And doing that, it started taking away feelings in my physical body that were manifesting from the amount of stress I was holding. And so my body started healing and my mind started healing and my heart started healing. And like I'm still healing. But by doing that, you're teaching yourself that you're in control of your thoughts. You're in control of your emotions. You're in control of how your body and your nervous system reacts because you're telling your mind that no, you're safe. And none of this is allowed in your body. It's not allowed in your body. And that's why the vagus nerve is really important. Because when you learn to reset your vagus nerve and you learn to do it properly and you learn to do it in an environment, in a place, and in a manner that allows you to feel safe and secure and empowered in doing so, you realize that the vagus nerve really allows your nervous system to get back to a place of like calm. It literally resets your nervous system, but it's not something to do all the time because you need to learn to feel what you're feeling because there's a reason you're feeling it, right? So if you're having panic attacks and you're like, let me reset my vagus nerve, right? You're never going to address why you're having the panic attack, right? And you need to address it because if you're constantly resetting it and never addressing why you're having it, you're always going to be like, it's kind of like restarting the computer when there's a glitch. You're always going to be restarting your computer, restarting your computer, restarting your computer. And soon enough, you're always going to be restarting your computer every 5 seconds and you're never going to be able to actually use it. You don't want to end up doing that to your body, What method do you use most reliably to raise your energy? Ooh, that's a really good question. Okay, so for me personally, I'm a manifesting generator if we were to talk human design, and I'm a sacral authority. So because I'm a sacral authority, I need sunlight. Like I need to be out in the sunlight. So, this makes me so happy you just asked this. Like I've started walking outside again, probably like 3.5 miles every single day. And I need to do it in the morning. I need the air. Like if you guys have been with me for a long time, dancing in the wind has been a thing for me since like I was a little girl. Like I used to sit outside on the basketball court we had in our driveway and I would just like spin in the wind. For me, I need to be outside. I need to be outside. That gets my day started. I need to be outside. I need to move my body. That helps raise my frequency when I start my day. But the biggest thing to raise my frequency for me, if I'm like getting into a meditative state, is breath work. Like for me, it is like breathing and raising my arms up. Like there's something about the movement to like, because I have an open ajna and an open crowd. And that's why the human design is like really important though, because when you realize, not when you realize, when you understand how your energy moves, you're going to realize that what works for me might not work for you because my energy is different than your energy. And so my third eye and my crown are open. And so doing things that really clear and flush my third eye and crown. So like doing a lotus that opens up my third eye and crown from my root up when I'm standing facing the sun in the morning, sun salutations works for me because I'm air. So I need to move from my sacral sacral, solar. So things that work with the sun, things that work with air, things that work with my third eye and my crown, they help me open up. They help me align. Just doing that already, I feel like my forehead like going on fire. Some say that Algi's rune is a symbol of a person raising their arms for protection. I'm not really familiar with runes. I'm more, I focus, not focus, honestly, to be super transparent, a lot of what I study is actually a lot of what comes to me in meditations. Like, um, I'm very much so guided by my intuition. I was doing something for the new moon in Libra last month, and I was kneeling on the floor saying my manifestations out loud. And I didn't even intend to do it this way. Typically, I write them, and I just got like to such a high frequency. I ended up putting my pen down, and I was kneeling, and I just felt the need to almost like get into prayer and do it. And like, I'm like a rocker. Like I need to move my body. That's me. Like I need to move. I'm very much like a swirler kind of person. Like moving the body works for me frequency wise. But I work with a lot of quantum energy. And so I'll move my arms a lot because that expands me very quickly. So it looks like a peace sign. Okay, cool. Okay. Yes. But when I'm in meditation, that's when I'll get a very clear channel of like how to do things. And so for instance, like I saw the Garuda mudra, and then before that I saw another mudra where this one was to cleanse the immune system. And I didn't know the name of it. I didn't know what it was or anything. And sure enough, by the end of that month, my neurologist was telling me to come off my MS meds, which was mild chemotherapy that I'd been on for like 4 years, which all has to do with your immune system. And so it was just ironic, the very things that were going on. And then I was doing this on the new moon in Libra and didn't know what it was. And this detoxifies the air Libra in your body. And I was like, what the and so that's how a lot of raising my frequency works. I do a lot of movement. I'm a firm believer that meditation is not supposed to be still. When I do sit still in meditation, it's because I'm guided to do so, and that tells me I'm going to a really high state of consciousness, and that like my energy needs to be conserved. Like that's what happened yesterday. No, 2 days ago. Was it 2 days? Yeah, it was 2 days ago. Yeah. And I went probably to the highest state I've been in. And that was, I literally had to open my eyes and I was like, am I still here? I thought I died again. I was like, oh shit. Drum circles. Yes, I literally have a drum right over here. I love drumming. Drumming's really good for breaking up stagnant energy. Drumming's really good for if you're wanting to ground yourself. Drumming's really good for meditation. It's really good for trance. It's really good if you have a journey you want to go on. I say journey like this because some people, if you're just starting to get into meditation and you're trying to create a sacred space in your mind you, your sacred space may not look how you imagine the first time because it's going to reflect where you are in your spiritual journey. So if you go in the first time and it looks like a concrete castle and you're like, why doesn't it look more abundant than this? It's because it's reflecting to you how you feel about yourself, or it's reflecting to you where you are right now on your journey. And over time, it's going to become more abundant. It's going to become more colorful because it's basically reflecting to you your subconscious mind and how much of it you really explored. So drumming's really good for that because it mirrors the heartbeat and also helps you stay into a trance state, which is really, really nice. I have that in the meditation playlist. If you guys want some drumming to listen to, it's on there for you guys. So, but my dears, I think I'm going to stop it here because I got some recording to do and my grandmother is going to be in town soon and I'd like to get it done so I can spend some time with them tonight. But I love you all. I wish you the best. I'll see you next time.